So you filed your claims and now you're being scheduled for exams. Today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to ace your VA C&P exam. Stick around to the end, I'll give you one bonus tip. So you guys have filed your claims and now you're being scheduled for exams. These exams are called compensation and pension exams, or C&P exams. The VA examiners hold a lot of power in the claims process. So these exams are important. What they're looking at is either how your condition is related to service or the severity of your condition, or both. These exams aren't necessarily conducted by the VA, guys. These are mostly conducted by third-party contractors. Some of their names are QTC and LHI. So you'll be attending exams mostly in private doctor's offices closer to your home. If you guys have to travel for the exam, the VA will provide you travel pay. So tip 1, find out what you're being examined for. I don't know how you guys could prepare for your exam if you don't know what disability is being examined. I know some of you guys have 20 conditions out there that you've filed for. We need to know which one is being examined. So you probably got a call from LHI or QTC. Those are VA's third-party contractors that handle the exams. If they didn't tell you when they called you, give them a call back, find out what that exam is for. If you have a VA rep, that VA rep should be able to log into the VA's electronic filing system and see what the exact exam request is. If your VA rep does not have electronic access to the VA, you need a new VA rep. Sometimes the examiners send questionnaires to you. Make sure you fill out that questionnaire before you go to the exam. Again, you need to know what disability they're asking you about in order to answer that questionnaire. So tip 1, find out what's being examined. Second tip, show up. Guys, I know this sounds simple enough, like a no-brainer, but it happens all the time. Guys are scheduled for exams and they don't show up to the exam. I know things like emergencies and work pop up, and that's okay. But guys, give QTC or LHI a call and let them know you need to reschedule. If you just don't show up, guess what? That claim is going to be denied, and now you find yourself in the VA appeals process just to get a new exam. Call and reschedule that exam if you can't make it. The VA is also doing video exams now. That may be an option to you. It's not always, but it is sometimes. If you're scheduled for a video exam, guys, make sure you have a smartphone or laptop, stable internet access, and somewhere quiet to take the exam. There's a rumor going around that the VA provides laptops for these exams. Not true, guys. Make sure you have that equipment. If you do not, call back the contractor and get an in-person exam. Number 3, be prepared to educate the examiner about your disability. I know you guys submitted, 50 pages of medical records and 5 buddy statements and your service treatment records. Don't assume that examiner has looked at any of that information. This is your chance to tell your story. The examiners hold a lot of power in the VA system. And if they don't know how your disability is service connected or related to service, then guess what? They're going to give you a negative opinion and your claim's going to be denied. So if you're claiming neck, back, knee injuries from jumping out of a plane, make sure the examiner knows that. Tell them how many times you jumped out. Tell them what it feels like when you land on the ground. Specifics, guys, details. Don't assume the examiner's a veteran or even familiar with the military. It's your job to educate them. They don't know that you marched 20 miles with an 80-pound ruck on. You got to let them know. Number 4, don't minimize your symptoms. You won't believe how many times I talked to a client after an exam, asked him how he went, and he goes, I didn't tell him a thing. Wrong answer, guys. This is not a trial. More information here is better. They are conducting an exam to gather information about your disability so you could get the best result possible. So not speaking about your symptoms is not the right move. You want to talk about how that condition affects your day-to-day life. Talk about how it affects you occupationally and talk about how it affects you socially. You want to give specific, detailed examples to the examiner. Now, I don't want you to exaggerate symptoms, and I don't want you to lie. You'll be labeled as what's called a malingerer. That means you're faking your medical condition, and then you have some real issues in trying to get your VA claim granted. So details about how those conditions affect you occupationally, socially, and on a day-to-day basis with detailed examples. So if you can't stand for more than 15 minutes due to your back pain, tell the examiner that. If you can't walk more than a block due to your knees, tell the examiner that. If you tell your supervisor off because of your PTSD, the examiner needs to know that. Detailed examples of how these things affect you. All right, tip 5, bring support to the exam. Now, this one's not always possible, guys. It's up to the examiner if he's going to let a third party in the room. But if you're able to bring your spouse or another support person in the room, I highly recommend it. It may put you at ease, may make you more comfortable. I know it's difficult talking about medical conditions in front of a stranger you don't know. So having someone there with you to support you may reveal more details. And guys, spouses are excellent in providing excellent details to the examiner. For instance, they could talk about how your PTSD is affecting your relationship with them or your children or family. They're an excellent resource for details of how your disability affects you on a day-to-day basis. Now, if the examiner doesn't let them in, that's their choice. Don't fight them on it. Something you could do instead is just get a statement from your support person and submit that in support of your VA disability claim. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around for those 5 tips. Here's the bonus tip. So this doesn't really have to do with preparing for the exam, but what comes afterwards. After you take that exam, get a copy of it. You are going to want to review that exam to make sure the examiner accurately recorded the facts and recorded all the symptoms you told them. In order to order that exam, you're going to use VA Form 21-10206. Review the exam. If there's inaccuracies in it, guess what? You should appeal, arguing it's an inadequate exam, and hopefully you get a new one. That does it for me, guys. Thanks for listening. As always, you guys have the power and knowledge to change your VA claim. Continue to like, subscribe, and put in the comments a topic you want to see me talk about next.